The dub is LA. Well, I'm doing the dub here. I'm doing these wonderful voiceover dubbings. Right! You mean the first time you witness a murder? Good point, Phoenix. You didn't witness a murder in the first place. Let's talk about that sea monster that you claim to have seen. What about Gordy? Right! Well, the way I figure, the trial's only stoking the flames of Gordy fever. I'll get my exclusive photos and rocket to stardom. All right, Lotta, you go, girl. I can't believe I just had to say that. I didn't stop myself in time. Let me just scooch on right by you there, oh. Let me just scooch right by you there, oh. Say ya to the UPA. Canada South, basically where we're at here. We stand a clueless witness. Don't you mean witless? Ha ha ha. I'm really good at this. Well, that wasn't a Canadian accent, Cyrus. I was doing a vtuber accent. Very close, though. Upper Michigan. The Upper Peninsula of Michigan, which is, it's actually more north. It's actually more northward than a large population of Canada. It's more of a Fargo type accent. Poor imitation. Class, let me ask, do you say creek or do you say crick? Creek or crick? Down at the crick? You know, fishing for some shrimp at the crick. At the crick? We have some creeks and some cricks. E. Yeah, I say creek. Oh, but pirate is in the Appalachias. Well, Canadians say creek. Say creek there, yeah, eh? I'm gonna go get some Tim Hortons there, eh? Hey, that there Bret Hart is the greatest wrestler of all time there, eh? I'm gonna go get some poutine at the Tim Hortons. I'm sorry. Get some poutine at the Tim Hortons there, eh? Oh, that's right, Eggs. You are an English second language speaker. You speak twice as many languages as I do. You could just pick the funniest English dialect and accent that you wanted. Three times as many. That's right. That's right. I mean, I do speak a moderate amount of Spanish, so I suppose it's 1.5 times as many. You can indeed do it. I've heard you speak at least 2 languages. Cyrus speaks Canadian and English. So I'm trying to do both this rages against the satiring of the polite. But we have a thing in the United States called Minnesota Nice, where it's sort of it's a mix of Canada and that down-home southern, you know, not very sincere niceness where they're like, oh, bless your heart. Oh, bless your heart. That kind of thing. Have you ever heard about the Midwest goodbye? That's another sign that you're definitely from the Midwest. It's where you don't actually ever say goodbye. You just sort of slap knees. Yep, there you go, Cyrus. Say, well, guess about time I be going. And you gotta like groan when you do it, like it's a strain to get up. Well, because you don't want to be impolite and be like, yeah, I'm out of here. I've taken that to the extreme. And just sort of, you linger around the doorway. You groan as you get up off the Chesterfield. Do you know that there's an extra food group in the Midwest? You know what the additional food group is? Close, Cyrus, it is close. That's more of Wisconsin specific. Although Wisconsin does have most of the cheese championships. It's not beer, but that's another close one. It's the casserole. The casserole is the food group that's added when you're in the Midwest. You make a giant pan of casserole, hot dish, there you go, hot dish, Spit Shepherd. Take it to the potluck. A beer cheese casserole pirate, yes indeed, very good. Deviled eggs and casserole, there you go. Now, of course, I wasn't planning on doing this, but I have to ask, do you say pop, soda, or cola? Sody Pop is your favorite? Let's see here. Let me bring it up. Everyone else is dead by your pop throwing hands. Pop is the most popular as you go north. Pretty much throughout the entirety of the north of the US. And as you head into Canada, it's pop. There's some small pockets in Wisconsin where it's soda. Mostly the eastern side. But soda is mostly in the Southwest and California. It's Coke almost all throughout the South. And this is indeed how languages evolve. How slang gets added into different areas, regional, dialect. How y'all became more or less an accepted contraction. But let me ask another question. If I can type here. Do you call it a water fountain or a bubbler? Well, no, McKen, we used to have a plural you. In fact, you used to be the plural you. If I'm not mistaken. I'll actually have to ask Miss Piper. They're an English teacher. Thou used to be the singular you. Yeah, so it's almost all water fountain. The US is like divided right in half across here. Water fountain, drinking fountain. Two little pockets in New England and Wisconsin, for some reason, call it a bubbler. I don't know where it came from. I don't know why, but that's the way it is. Bit Shepherd, one of your stranger friends calls the television remote a clicker. There are people who still call it clicker. Cyrus, you say there's federal law that demands radio and television and the like broadcast a minimum 10% Canadian content. Well, that's how we get those great Canadian shows down here. Good point, Nomaken. They are at the same latitude. I don't know how otherwise that happened. Wisconsin is a lot of German immigrants. There's a lot of Scandinavian There's also some Cornish, some Welsh. I don't know. The only other migration really that I know of is the Oneida tribe migrated in part from New York to Wisconsin. Oh, the Dutch, you say? The Dutch. It's the Dutch. Well, a lot of society's problems can be traced to the Dutch, so I'm not too surprised. They know what they did.